In San Jose, California, there's a house with 160 rooms, 2,000 doors, and 10,000 windows. Stairs that climb into a ceiling and stop. Doors that open onto blank walls or drop straight down into empty air. A chimney that rises 4 stories and stops 2 feet short of the roof. It was built continuously for 38 years without a master blueprint. The woman who built it never explained why. And by the time she died, even the people closest to her didn't fully understand what she'd been doing or what she believed she was building it for. This is the story of Sarah Winchester and the house that still doesn't make sense. Sarah Lockwood Pardee was born in New Haven, Connecticut in 1839. In 1862, she married William Wirt Winchester, heir to the Winchester Repeating Arms Company, the manufacturer that had turned the gun that won the West into one of the most profitable arms businesses in America. Their life on paper was privilege. In reality, it was marked by loss. Their only child, Annie, died in infancy in 1866. William himself died of tuberculosis in 1881. Within a span of 15 years, Sarah had lost her daughter, her husband, and, not long after, her father-in-law, the company's founder. She inherited roughly 50% ownership of the Winchester Repeating Arms Company and an income historians estimate at around $1,000 a day, a fortune in 1880s dollars of well over 1,000 times that in today's money. She was, by any measure, one of the wealthiest widows in the country. And in 1884, she left Connecticut for California, alone. When Sarah Winchester arrived in the Santa Clara Valley, she purchased an unfinished 8-room farmhouse on 161 acres. Almost immediately, construction began, and it never really ended. For the next 38 years, until the day she died in 1922, carpenters worked on the house essentially around the clock. Some accounts describe crews working in shifts, 7 days a week, holidays included. There was no single architect, no master plan on file. Sarah reportedly sketched additions on scraps of paper, sometimes at the breakfast table, and handed them directly to her foreman. The result was a structure that grew organically and chaotically. Additions built onto additions, wings added and then sealed off, rooms built over rooms. At its peak, before the 1906 earthquake, the house may have reached 7 stories and, by some estimates, over 500 rooms. Today, what survives and is open to the public totals 160 rooms across roughly 24,000 square feet, still one of the largest, strangest private residences ever constructed in the United States. What makes the Winchester house genuinely strange isn't just its size, it's its logic or lack of one. There's a staircase that rises 7 steps and then ends flush against the ceiling. Doors, full-size paneled doors, that open onto solid exterior walls 2 stories above the ground with nothing behind them but open air. A chimney with 4 separate flues, built to standards precise enough to have survived 2 major earthquakes, that nonetheless stops just short of ever reaching the roofline. Some of this has a mundane explanation. After the 1906 San Francisco earthquake severely damaged the upper floors, Sarah reportedly had crews seal off and abandon whole sections rather than rebuild them, leaving doors and staircases that once led somewhere now leading nowhere at all. But not all of it fits that explanation. Some of these oddities were built that way from the start, and that's where the house stops being a quirky architectural accident and becomes a genuine, unresolved historical question: why? The most famous answer is also the most dramatic. According to a legend that circulated for over a century, a Boston medium named Adeline Adams told Sarah Winchester, grieving and adrift after her husband's death, that she was haunted, cursed even, by the spirits of everyone ever killed by a Winchester rifle. The medium's advice: move west, build a house, and never stop building. As long as construction continued, the spirits would be kept at bay. The moment it stopped, Sarah herself would die. It's an extraordinary story, and it's the version repeated in nearly every ghost tour, tabloid segment, and Hollywood adaptation of Sarah Winchester's life, including a 2018 feature film that leaned into it directly. There's just one problem. There is no primary source documentation, no letter, diary entry, or contemporary newspaper account from Sarah's lifetime that actually confirms this seance ever took place. This is where serious researchers diverge sharply from the popular legend. Historians who've combed property and probate records note that the ghost story version of Sarah Winchester's life appears to have taken firm shape only after her death, largely promoted by the new owners who purchased the estate in 1923 and turned it into a paid tourist attraction almost immediately. A haunted mansion, it turns out, sold a lot more tickets than a grieving widow's home renovation habit. The alternative theories researchers take more seriously are less sensational, but arguably more human. Sarah suffered from severe rheumatoid arthritis in her later years. Some historians suggest continuous construction gave her a sense of purpose and control during a period of chronic pain and physical decline. Others point to something simpler. She had no children, no surviving spouse, effectively unlimited money, and genuine architectural curiosity at a time when there was no one in her life to tell her to stop. The seven-step staircase and dead-end doors may reflect nothing more mystical than a wealthy, isolated woman experimenting, improvising, and occasionally changing her mind mid-build. The truth is, no single explanation is confirmed. Sarah Winchester left almost no personal writing behind, explaining her motives. What survives is the house itself, and historians are still arguing about what it actually tells us. On April 18, 1906, the Great San Francisco earthquake struck the Bay Area, and the Winchester house, then reportedly 7 stories tall, was badly damaged. Sarah reportedly became trapped for hours in a bedroom sealed shut by the shifting structure. Afterwards, she ordered the top 3 floors abandoned rather than repaired, and construction pivoted from building upward to building outward. She continued renovating the house until September 4, 1922, when she died in her sleep at age 82. Construction stopped that same day and never resumed. Within a year, the estate was sold, and by 1923, it had reopened to the public as the Winchester Mystery House, a name the new owners coined for its marketing appeal. It's been a tourist attraction and a magnet for ghost hunters, paranormal investigators, and now viral overnight explorers ever since. Today, it draws hundreds of thousands of visitors a year, most of them there for the ghost story the estate itself has spent a century promoting. So what was Sarah Winchester actually doing? Was she running from guilt over a fortune built on a killing machine? Placating spirits a medium convinced her were real? Was she simply an isolated, chronically ill woman with more money than anyone could spend, treating construction as therapy? Or was there a colder, simpler truth that a woman with no heirs, no architect, and no one to answer to just kept building because she could? Nearly a century after her death, there's still no definitive answer. The house survives as one of America's strangest architectural artifacts, not because of what we know about it, but because of everything we still don't. And Sarah Winchester isn't the only figure in American history whose silence left behind more questions than answers. In November 1945, in the hills of West Virginia, a family of 9 vanished from a house fire in the middle of the night. And unlike Sarah Winchester's mansion, what they left behind wasn't a mystery of architecture. It was a mystery that to this day has never been solved at all. If you like these kind of stories, I would encourage you to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the upcoming episodes. See you all next time.